Welcome back to BNFM, the podcast for the people of Bottleless Nation. I'm Kylie, your host, and I'm excited to keep this series rolling with conversations that highlight the people, ideas, and the culture behind Bottleless Nation. Today, I'm joined by David Land, our General Manager and Director of Manufacturing. He's new to the team, but definitely not new to leading change and scaling operations. David has decades of experience in manufacturing and quality systems, including leadership roles at Toyota and material handling systems, and he brings a serious passion for building high-performing teams and sustainable systems. In this episode, we'll talk about what brought him to Bottleless Nation, what he's learned from his experience, and what our new expanded warehouse and manufacturing space means for the future. Let's dive in. David, welcome to the second episode of BNFM. I'm glad that you're here.
Oh, thank you very much, Kylie. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
Very good, very good. It's been very busy. We have a lot going on right now, but I'm just jumping right in.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So you've been here for 2 months. So
Right?
fill us in a little bit on your first 2 months here at Bottleless Nation. How has it been
Okay.
in your time with
Sure,
us? Yeah.
sure. Well, I've told Rick a couple of times it's like drinking from a fire hose. There's
Mm-hmm.
really a lot to learn, and even though I've been around manufacturing for a long time, every company has different products and processes and people, so it and nomenclature, names of the products. It's a lot to get your hands around initially, but
Yeah.
I'm having a fantastic time here and getting to know all the people and really starting to understand the opportunities that we have here.
Yeah, I love it. And can you tell me more and everyone else about your experience leading up to Bottleless Nation? How did you get here? I saw you went to Rose Holman.
Yeah,
I'm a
right.
small liberal arts college person myself, so
Yeah.
you're in my backyard basically where I grew up. But
Yeah.
yeah, tell us more about how you got here and where this started.
Sure. So after my time at Rose with a bachelor's in engineering and a master's in engineering management, I spent 16 years at Toyota, where I led the design engineering group for 14 of those years, designing forklift products. The forklift design came from Japan, but we were producing the forklifts here for all of North America. And my team, which started out about 4 people and ended up about 50 people, really helped modify those products to suit the US market. Um,
Cool.
at the end of that time, I transitioned over to a quality role, led the quality department at Toyota for the last 2 years that I was there, which was a fantastic experience. Many trips to Japan, learning from their experts and understanding what engineering needed to improve on to help improve the quality of the product. So it was very beneficial to me uh, in a career standpoint. Then the other big role that I had was at Material Handling Systems in Louisville, Kentucky. They manufacture high-speed sortation conveyors for Amazon, UPS, and FedEx.
Okay.
Um, Private equity company. My team there started out about 25 people. By the time I left, I had responsibility for all of mechanical, electrical, and controls engineering, and I had about 250 people reporting to me over a fairly large regional area. So
Wow.
yeah, it was an exciting time, and that happened in 4 years. But both of those companies were ones that ultimately made it to the billion-dollar mark,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what really excited me when I talked to Rick and Jacob and Austin was that that's the goal for Bottleless Nation as well. An equity company headed for big goals, and this role really gives me the opportunity to take what I've learned over the last 30 plus years, roll it all together, and then help make Bottleless Nation an even greater place than it already is.
Yeah. Well, and for those who don't know, and this is something that getting into the water world I wasn't aware of, is that a lot of people are typically using all the same like machinery, whether it's ice or water, and they're selling it maybe in different markets in different ways to different,
Right,
people, but they're
right,
a lot of times selling from the same manufacturer.
right.
And that's not something that I necessarily knew. And I'm sure the different industries, the water is probably different than Toyota,
Right.
But I think that going in and Bottles Nation kind of stepping into the manufacturing game it's a completely different world than we've been in previously, which was service and sales.
Right. Right. Yeah. This is a very different product line, obviously, than what I'm used to. It's not a
Hmm.
forklift or a conveyor, but really the processes that I've developed over the last 30 years apply here just as well as they did at those other locations. And, uh, it doesn't matter whether we're building ice and water machines or something else, you still have to order parts, deliver parts to the line, manage the assembly process, manage the quality of both the in-house quality and the supplier quality,
Yeah.
and then make sure that all gets done in a timely manner and shipped out to the customer. That's what's really exciting about OmniFlow manufacturing, is that we have the ability to bring that expanded role to the Bottleless Nation family.
Yeah, yeah. And so when you first gotten introduced to Bottles Nation, I guess
Mhm.
what stood out to you about the company, the culture, and just the opportunities that you saw when you were first getting introduced?
Sure. Well, I like the philosophy here that we're trying to leave it better than we found it. That fits well and resonates well with me. But also just the excitement that I saw from the whole board. Uh, I could tell that they're all very passionate about growing this business, and one of Rick's lines that I really appreciate is, if we need to dream bigger, we'll dream bigger.
Hmm.
And that's really great, because I can already see after just 2 months that we have uh, really a great number of opportunities here.
Yeah, yeah. And then what do you feel like with Bottleless Nation and your experience prior? What are some immediate things that you're like, okay, this could be so cool, so big, whatever the, adjectives you want to see. What are
Yeah,
you looking into the future as far as the future of Bottles Nation for that?
sure. So building a stronger assembly foundation is
Hmm.
step one.
And
We've
for
already
those of us who don't know manufacturing, what break that down for us a little bit further.
Okay. So the assembly process currently at OmniFlow is putting the finishing touches on the product that we import from our supplier.
Got it.
And it's detailed work. It's a very important work for the final quality of the product, but it's really just final assembly.
Okay.
What I'm looking forward to is the ability to completely assemble these from just the raw parts here in Indianapolis. There's a lot of planning going on right now, a lot of discussions, but our ultimate goal is to replace our very manual conveyor system and assembly process with a much more automated process, like we recently saw in China.
Yeah. And for those of us who I guess who maybe haven't seen that, what does that change for us in what we can do?
So the two big changes are, number one, it gives us the ability to significantly increase our daily production rate.
Okay.
Where today we're building 30 units a day,
Hmm.
we could easily build 100 units a day or more in this new process. Um,
Yeah. And
so
correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of those assembly, a lot of that came from manufacturing cars in the beginning, right? Like a lot of the history of the assembly
right.
line, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
The story is Henry Ford started that, ran the Model Ts down the assembly line. And before that, they would basically just bring all the parts to one location and they would build a whole car in one location. But he had the idea of, putting the chassis on a continuous conveyor line, and every
Hmm.
person doing a little bit of the work along the way.
Yeah.
And that's really the exact same concept we're using here.
Wow. And so with expanding this, does that mean adding on new staff? I feel like if people have their niche things that they're like, I'm really good at this part of the assembly.
Sure.
more people might be needed than one person maybe. Is that how it's working? One person is building it from beginning to end?
Today, no, we already have three or four or five stations where the assembly person will do their portion of that work. Then it
Hmm.
moves on to the next station. They do a little bit, they do a quality check, and then on until it's packaged and ready to go. So we're kind of following that process now, but in the new concept where the conveyor line would move on its own rather than
Hmm.
us having to push the unit along. Uh, Plus, like I said, we that gives us the ability to significantly increase our capacity because we just add more people to the line,
Yeah.
and each person does a little bit less at their station, but they're going to process a lot more units per day.
Yeah.
So the other big benefit that we have in that new scenario is that today we have to make an educated guess about which models of product to bring in to import.
Hmm.
And if the sales team is selling way more of one model than the other, then we can run into a shortage situation. Uh, because our units are so similar in their construction, if we're building those from scratch, from just parts, then if the sales volume fluctuates, we have the ability to react much more quickly and switch which product that we're producing.
Yeah. And that's interesting. Those are things, obviously, working in the marketing department, I don't learn and
Yeah,
experience a ton about manufacturing. But once you get it
sure.
all set up, I'm going to have to come and check it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so what kind of like facility in comparison to what we had before, size wise, are we looking at? How does that start to compare when you're looking at just the amount of people and space that you
Sure.
need to be able to move these machines?
Right. So when I joined 2 months ago, we had about 15,000 square feet of space here at OmniFlow.
Hmm.
And I think the week that I joined, we signed the lease on the new space. And we've been working on getting that up and running, still are to some point for the last 2 months. But that's an additional 19,000 square feet of space. So we've got about 34,000 square feet total now.
Wow.
Um, we have racking on order that we'll be using for our raw materials and reworking the flow through the complete facility. So it's a very exciting time.
Yeah, wow. And I mean, you've been through experiences of major growth. What do you think it takes to scale a company when you have the experience of doing it before? How do you
Mhm.
take that, apply it to Bottleless Nation? And what does that really look like? How do you go, especially when things are changing so rapidly, how do you
Right.
handle that growth? What does that look like as far
Yeah.
as like your job, but then also the ripple effect through the company?
Sure. So it's really one step at a time.
Hmm.
The One of the things that I really learned at Toyota was planning is the most important step of any project. And
Hmm.
so we're all doing, but I'm especially doing a lot of planning right now, trying to understand where we are today, where we want to go, and then what are the right steps to get us from here to there.
Hmm.
There is going to be a ripple effect for sure, because as we expand the functions that we're performing here, we'll have to bring in more people, more assemblers. When you get to that point, then you need quality control members, you need production supervision, you need production controls at some point as those volumes continue to go up.
Yeah.
It just becomes, too much for this very small team to manage at some point. But so there's a lot of opportunities going forward. Um, and it's just an exciting time.
Yeah. Did you learn, I guess, what type of, because I don't know, I'm imagining you go to school for engineering.
Mhm.
Is this where you imagine yourself to be? I don't know. I feel like sometimes with an engineering, especially there's so many different paths that you can take.
Right,
And, then you're managing all these people. Is that something that
right.
comes naturally to you? Is it something that was hard for you to learn? Was there anything that you had,
Mm,
like a moment where you're like, okay, this can be a big difference in me as a leader and how we really succeed? Because I mean, I
sure.
have a sports background. I feel like when you're leading that many people, I mean, that's a team that you're leading. How do you get
Yeah,
them all
it
on the
is.
same page, you know?
Yeah. Well, again, you have to have a vision. You have to understand what the end goal is and then communicate and make sure
Hmm.
that everyone on the team understands what that goal is and consistently follow up daily to make sure that we're all moving in that same direction.
Yeah.
To answer your question about did I ever expect to be here? Absolutely not. They don't teach much about future planning in school, or they
No.
didn't then. And so we were very focused on the technical aspect of engineering. And I had the opportunity fairly on in my career to start managing people, managing a
Hmm.
small team. And I enjoyed it. And I guess I was good at it because I kept progressing into new roles at different companies and within the same company, and eventually here I am. So it's been great to manage both small teams, as small as one or two people, and as big as 250, and they all present their own challenges,
Yeah.
depending on the size of the team. But we've got a fantastic team here, and they're all excited and cooperative with the growth that's going on and the changes that are necessary to put in place to get us to that point.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're a person who, I mean, I feel like we know the answer to this, but maybe I'll ask anyways. Are you a person who I mean, enjoys the growth? Because I think sometimes when with growth, what I also hear is change. So do you
Sure.
enjoy that process of change? Because
Yeah.
I know that that can be really hard. Is that
Yeah.
something you enjoy, or is it just something you're like,
Yeah.
it's part of the job?
A little bit of both,
Hmm.
change. A lot of people do push back on change.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how um, to work with the team when there is change coming around. And again, I think communication is the key. As long as everyone understands the why, then they're typically on board. If you just throw out, "Hey, we're going to do it this way," but don't explain anything,
Hmm.
then it's definitely more challenging. But yeah, I enjoy it very much. I don't like to be bored. I like to stay busy, and this job so far has definitely fit that bill.
Yeah. Yeah. No moments of dull
No,
over there, I'm
no,
sure.
never, ever, never.
And so one of the things that Rick was talking about is just really looking to institutionalize the manufacturing process. And so,
Mhm.
what does that shift look like? Like, how do you approach that, and how do you take us from being, where we are into an, we're newer to
Sure.
this
Yeah.
to the next level? Like, what does that, I guess, what does that
Right.
look like? You talked about the, obviously the conveyor and some of those. Is
Yeah.
there anything
Yeah.
else that is big and then changing that?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that's critical to building a scalable organization is well-defined processes and procedures.
Hmm.
People have to understand how to do their job. If you just say, "Hey, we need you to build this unit," but we don't tell them how or what the expectations are, the results are going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
And when we say, "Okay, now we need you to build three times as many," it's just not sustainable. So that's another part of what I'm doing now is trying to define how we're going to work. What are those processes for assembly and for shipping and for receiving and for everything that we do here. And then once those are defined, with the help of the team, train everyone, and then follow up to make sure that it's working. One of the processes that I learned early on is called PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, and Act, and it's really
Mm-hmm.
a continuous improvement cycle. So, like I said earlier, we start with the planning, we do as much of that as we can, then we do something, we put that plan in place. After a while, we stop and check the results. Did it
Mm-hmm.
work? Did we get the results we were expecting? And wherever we did not, then we can adjust and start again, adjust
Yeah.
the plan and go again. So that's really what I'm trying to use here. I don't have experience with this product. A lot of people here do. So I'm leaning on them to understand the best way to build the units and understand what each product needs to be the most successful.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting. Are there other things with your time at Toyota? I mean, you were there for a while. Was there any time where you had like an aha moment where, you weren't doing something and then you like something clicked or anything like that when you're at Toyota?
So one of the big lessons I learned early on, and I don't remember if it was Toyota or the role before that, but the everything you do really needs to focus on the customer, because without the customer, you're not going to be in business. So it's important, extremely important, to focus on customer service and product quality. And I know we talk a lot about that here. We're spending a lot of time and effort, Mike is, and the rest of the team, on ensuring that the products we're developing are the highest quality we can possibly produce, so that when they get to the field, we're not sending a service truck out every week to fix that
Yeah.
unit. We want to place it and let it do its thing and not have to worry about it. And so as long as we can do that, the customers will keep coming back and we'll keep growing. So
Hmm.
we have to, especially on the manufacturing development and manufacturing side, we have to place an extreme amount of importance and focus on the customer.
Yeah, no. And I think that that's something we deal with a lot more within, Bottleless Nation because we're not just, giving someone a unit and never seeing them again. We
Right,
to maintain that relationship month in and
right,
month out,
right,
especially when they're getting billed for something, you have to continue
right.
to provide
Sure,
and that customer service. And that's hard to do, especially as we continue to grow and evolve.
right,
And we have
sure,
markets in different states and climates and all of those types of things. So there's
right.
there's different things
Yeah,
and so it's like from the beginning to the end, the service team, the sales team, manufacturing team, we all have to be like on the same page with those types of
absolutely. I
quality.
totally agree. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and so one of the things I was going to ask about with the manufacturing side of things, are
Mhm.
you guys looking at like how much are we expanding the products that we're offering? Is there like a sweet spot of like a number of units that you think we can manufacture at one time? I guess what does that look like?
Um, it's my philosophy on that is, if the sales team will sell it, I will build
Okay. Okay.
it. So, with especially with our expanded plan for the conveyor system and the new space we have,
Hmm.
we really have the capacity here to produce an exceptional number of units.
Okay.
Um, we've got three main units right now: the M6, the S1, and the S3
Hmm.
that we're producing here at OmniFlow. Um, uh, there are discussions about doing more products in the future. Nothing's been decided, but I think we've got a good chance of significantly expanding the operation here at OmniFlow from a production standpoint and number of units per day standpoint.
Yeah, how much do you think we can grow until we would have to maybe scale again? What did you know what like what did you guys plan
Yeah.
for that
Well,
space?
I think we have the building for 4 years, so
Okay.
we'll make the most use of it during
Reassess
that
then.
time. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And what are you most excited for looking into those next 4 years?
So from my standpoint, I'm really excited to be here at this stage of the growth of Bottleless Nation and of OmniFlow specifically, because we have a good foundation built, but we have a huge mountain to climb, and there's going to be a lot for everybody to learn together and to do together.
Hmm.
And I'm just excited over the next 4 years to see how much we can get done, and can we push it to build 200 units a day?
Yeah.
And can we bring on three or four more models of units? It's very, very exciting to me.
Yeah, that's so much fun. I think it's really unique and I don't know if everyone understands that, whether they're in this company or surrounding it. That
Yeah.
and then this is something that I didn't realize about Bottleless Nation that makes us unique is like being end to end.
Right.
We're not just dropping off units and leaving
Sure.
them, and
Right.
that's not something that I realized, I guess, was as unique
Hmm.
within the industry until I was immersed
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
So I think
Right.
that that's something that's really neat, that we can really give someone like a really positive experience from the
Yeah.
moment that we step in the door as a salesperson, you
Yeah.
know, until we're, working with them years down the road, hopefully. So I think that that's
Right.
a really cool thing about Bottleless Nation, that I don't
Sure.
know, it can be really good maybe and really bad when it comes to, it's a hard relationship to maintain, when you're
Mhm.
dealing with customers, but also gives
Sure.
us a lot of opportunity to build
Sure.
really good relationships too.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And I'm sure that those relationships that they build will continue through, even if that person moves to a different company, they're going to call us back up and say, hey, we need some coolers over here too.
Yeah,
So it's very important.
yeah, definitely. So there's a question that we've been asking everyone. I said everyone. We've only done one episode, right? And so, but I want to ask you two questions because
Right.
I feel like I'm interested in maybe where your inspiration comes from. What keeps you inspired? What is maybe someone that you look at, whether it be a company or a person, or and it doesn't even have to be work related, just anything.
Mm.
Like, what inspires you? Is there anyone that you look um, to keep you kind of on track?
Mm. That's a tough question.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm I'm generally pretty self-motivated. Um,
Okay.
it's just a drive that I've always had.
Hmm.
Uh, even when I was a kid, I would always find something to do and rode motorcycles when I was little. We would always, my brother and I would work on those motorcycles. And if something wasn't wrong, we'd take it apart and fix it anyway. And uh, so, that kind of pushed me into engineering in the first place.
Hmm.
And then through the roles that I've had over the past many years, I think just the excitement and enjoyment I get from doing this type of work is what really motivates me to come back in the next day and do it again, and hopefully do it better the next day.
Yeah. Yeah. And is that where you feel like your engineering interest came from, was riding motorcycles?
Uh, for absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Were there
for
anything
sure.
else that you got into that was maybe related, that weren't motorcycles, that you were building or anything, or rebuilding?
I rebuilt my engine in the car when I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
What car
and
was it?
it was a 1973 Camaro Z28.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was pretty fun.
Mhm.
And I always built model airplanes and model ships when I was smaller, and I've built remote controlled airplanes, and just always doing something like that.
Is that something you do now as a hobby? Do you
Uh,
still
I
dabble?
haven't done that for a long time, no,
Yeah,
but I still enjoy those things.
and that's awesome. Okay, so my final question for you is, what would you tell your day one self? You get your first job and you're just getting into manufacturing, and
Yeah.
I guess what would you tell that person that you maybe know now?
Mm. So two things.
Hmm.
One is learn as much as you can, as quickly as you can, and don't stop learning. And number two is don't be afraid to be more aggressive in the role that you're in. Most companies I've found don't encourage that, but they won't shy away from it either. And I
Hmm.
think I would have progressed more quickly through my career if I would have voiced my opinion more often.
Hmm.
I'm generally a pretty quiet person. So I think if I would have been a little more outgoing, voiced my opinion, I would have done better in my career overall. But it's turned out great anyway. So it
Yeah.
wasn't too bad. But that's the advice I would give for anyone just getting started.
No, I think that's great. And there's a lot of people here that are in completely different roles
Yeah,
within Bottleless Nation. And
right.
I know that there's a lot of people who have grown a lot with the company. They may have
Sure.
started in one area and they completely switched to a different area. So I
Right.
think that there's a lot of room for that here as well. So
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think that's really exciting. Well, that's
Yep.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, David. I think that all of us, especially myself, we're going to walk away with more information on manufacturing and what you guys are doing at OmniFlow and Bottleless Nation. I'm excited to see the space. We just ordered some vinyl for the space. We're trying to
Right.
spruce it up with the
Yeah.
logos and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. We
Um,
appreciate it.
yeah, yeah. So I think we're all going to walk away with better understanding and really what it takes to build something that lasts. So
Okay.
thank you
Great.
for being here.
All right. Thank you for inviting me, Kylie. It's been fun.
Yep. Thanks.
All right. Yeah. Bye bye.